Who you are is what's always here. Who you are is what you always have. It's your birthright. But let me try to go at it from a different angle and put it into more traditional words. So Advaita likes consciousness, the word consciousness, and it's easy to put it into the words of consciousness rather than this moment or this is it. I think consciousness is an easier way to explain it. It makes it something more understandable, like a word that we can pinpoint. So if we go for consciousness, and that's the word they like you must have heard all spiritual people talking about consciousness. They like that. Consciousness. I am consciousness. I remember when I first heard that, I thought I knew what it meant, but I really didn't. I thought I knew what consciousness was, but I think I thought that consciousness was a personal thing that my character owned, and I couldn't really separate out the two. But when they said it, I thought it sounded very dramatic, and I thought that consciousness could do things and had choice and had free will, and I just needed to align with that consciousness. But as time went on, it became more clear what consciousness is. So in England, we have two ways in which we can call consciousness, and I'm just going to clarify it so that you can be more precise with your understanding. In England, we have this saying that most probably came from Freud, that about unconscious. So you can be unconscious of your dynamics. So you could be sitting here and you could be being passive aggressive to someone, but you might not notice it, like giving them the eye, like giving them like difficult energy, shooting bullets at them. But you might not be aware that you're doing that. What you might be aware of is, or you might think, is that they're an asshole. And that's what you might be conscious of, is that they're an asshole, but you might not realize that energetically you're like really angry with them and really dislike them. So that would be an unconscious dynamic. And we do these unconscious dynamics a lot, and all of us have them, including me, these unconscious dynamics. And then someone points it out to you and you're like, oops. Or you go like, no, it's not true, I'm not like that. Dependent on your personality. And so these are two different words. And then we also have, we use this word like conscious and unconscious. I'm conscious of my dynamics and unconscious of my dynamics. And then we also have this other word, consciousness. Sorry, just getting my coffee. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks. The other word that we have is consciousness. So in the morning when you wake up, you need consciousness in order to wake up. So if you talk of it in terms of anesthetic, like when you have an operation, somebody gives you an injection and gives you, I've only had it once, I think it's called what's it called? Not anesthetic. Sedation, yeah, okay, sedation. So we're sedated. So I had it when I had my wisdom teeth out. The doctor's counting back, and then they're like, not 10, and then you wake up and you're like, oh God, and the teeth are gone. So what they're doing there is that's nothing to do with you being conscious or unconscious of your personal dynamics. That's a different word, but we call it the same, which is tricky. But that is your consciousness is being shut off. So your consciousness, so you just miss time. So time disappears in that. So you have a consciousness that's got nothing to do with you being conscious or unconscious of your dynamics. That's hard to distinguish the difference at first, but it doesn't matter if you're being passive-aggressive to the doctor when you're laying on that table and you're like, yeah, motherfucker, blah, 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 blah. Suddenly they switch you out and it's got nothing to do with your personality or your behavior. It's that there is this awakeness that you have. And when you're in deep sleep, that awakeness is gone, it seems. And when you get knocked out by the doctor, when you're sedated, then also you lose your consciousness. So this is nothing to do with the person. So often we're getting these words mixed up. I personally, if I was the one teaching you from the very beginning, I would change the words to personal awareness. I would change, like, so you're personally aware of things or personally not aware of things, and then this big consciousness. But That's not how it happened. Like everything, it evolved, and we used the same words for different things. So I'm talking about the consciousness that goes when the doctor sedates you. Now, this consciousness, you have no control over it. You think you do because you think you can ask the doctor to sedate you, or you can go to sleep. But actually, you have never asked for consciousness, and you don't know where that consciousness comes from. So when you wake up in the morning, just prior to waking up, you don't think, one moment, I'm just going to switch the lights on and I'm going to be conscious. Consciousness appears, and then you think about yourself. Consciousness is first. You can't, there'd have to be consciousness if you suddenly thought, hang on, just let me switch on consciousness. You'd need consciousness. You couldn't do it without consciousness. That is the primary element that you need in order to experience this life. This is primary, and this has nothing to do with you being conscious or unconscious of your dynamics. This is your birthright. You were given this at birth. You think when you go to sleep that it switches off, and when you wake up it turns back on again, but actually that's not true. There is just missing time. It doesn't ever switch off. You can't have a place of it switching on and switching off, but that's another subject. When we've pointed out consciousness better, we'll talk about that part, deep sleep, and what that is. So consciousness is inherent in every experience you've ever had. So right now, there is a consciousness of me, and you didn't ask to be conscious of me, you're just conscious of me. I'm sitting here in front of you, and here I go, and you can hear my words. You can move your personal attention, so you can move your attention onto my words, or onto the magpies, or onto your neighbor, or onto your heartbeat or breathing, but you can't move your big consciousness. Your big consciousness is aware or conscious of the personal attention being moved. It is also conscious of the bamboo behind me, the flowers, this bed that I'm sitting on, my coffee, the speakers, this. It's conscious of all of it instantaneously. It doesn't take any time for you to be conscious of anything. It happens, consciousness. It's a miracle, and we don't know how consciousness happens. It's really quite miraculous that it appears all the time. Everywhere you go, there is consciousness. Your personality structure's changing, your body's changing, your thoughts are changing, your beliefs are changing, your ideas about yourself are changing, your emotions are changing, your feelings are changing, your friends are changing, your environment's changing, but you always have consciousness no matter what. And why is that important? Because that's who you truly are. Who you truly are is what's always permanent, not that which comes and goes. What happens in the human world is we're identified with a personality structure that's always changing, and we believe that's us. And we feel that we're a limitation. We're an age, we're a name, we're a country, we're a belief system, we're a body, we're looks, we're behaviors. We're all these things, but actually that's not who you always are. That's moving, that comes and goes, that's changing dependent on who you're in relationship with. That's not your fixed self. Your fixed self is consciousness. But this is always overlooked. And it's the most important part. It's what's always here. It's home. It's what on the human level you've always been looking for. On the human level, you might think that you've been looking for love or sex or appreciation or wealth or good things, which you have on the human level been looking for that. But there's also been this added dimension where you believe that if you get those things, you will arrive home. And you will never arrive home in something that's moving. You will have it and you will lose it. It will be pleasurable and then painful. You arrive home in who you are, which is consciousness. This is who you are. And this is the really magical part that could blow your brain if you're open to it, is that consciousness is not a limitation. If you really examine what consciousness is, it doesn't belong to anyone or reside anywhere. So right now you might think, I am conscious inside my body, and she is outside of me. And this is the non-duality part, this is the wholeness part. Is that your experience, that I am outside of you? Right now, am I in or outside of your consciousness? In or outside? If I was outside, then I wouldn't exist, right? So therefore, I'm inside your consciousness, and this is where the magic begins, because that means that everything is you. everything. Not you as a person, not you as a limitation, but you as who you truly are. This is oneness, or the wholeness that all the Buddhas talk about. This is magic. This is all you ever look for, is knowing this, remembering this. You suffer because you're always looking for that limitlessness in limitation. This is the human drama. You keep looking in a feeling, in an idea, in a situation for that limitlessness. Next time you feel really ecstatically happy, just see how big you are. Ask the question, how big am I now? When you feel deep suffering and deeply contracted, you'll notice that you feel incredibly small and tight inside your body. And this is because when you're happier, I would suggest that you're not seeking so much and you're not so much identified with the person. The person, however, believes that you did something in order to be happy. You achieved something to be happy. So therefore, your happiness becomes dependent on objects, on something that you get. And that something, like everything in this world, will disappear. Dun, dun, dun. It's the number one rule of this world, is that everything is changing. Everything is changing. So if you believe your happiness is found in an object, which most people do, you're always going to be happy and sad, and lost in that drama. If you really see that happiness, true happiness, what you look for is expansiveness, is limitlessness, and you know this, deep down you know this, then non-duality is the answer, or the question, depending on how you look at it. But it's the freedom. Non-duality is the freedom, not two-ness. So you could be perfectly free, and this is what the Buddha teaches, in a prison cell. You could be perfectly free on death row. You could be perfectly free sitting here. Hello. We lost the electricity.